Greetings, YouTube. Happy Thursday. And I'm sure quite a few people are happy on this Thursday because of this announcement that Alliance Quest maps are free this week. And of course, they're showing almost like invisible but kind of cool graphics. They almost look like eyes if you look at the gold and the Alliance Treasury spots with the big zeros on the banner because they're free. So, it's funny. I used to think this was always a good thing. And then you had people who were like, dang it, now other alliances are going to run map 6, or I guess now map 7 this week. And that means we're not going to get as good of rewards because there's going to be more competition. Blah, 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 blah. It's funny because I am used to this as kind of a sales tactic for other things. Whenever Subway comes out with a new cookie, suddenly it's like, hey, you want a free cookie? And it kind of sounds like a drug because they're like, here's a raspberry lemonade cookie. And Taco Bell does this a lot, right? They start with something at $1 and then they get you hooked. And then suddenly it's $3 and you have to choose as to whether or not you want to keep buying the thing that you've acquired the taste of for triple the price or go without. So Kabam is doing this in hopes that your alliance will enjoy map 6 or 7. And then when the price returns after this week, you're willing to fork over what it takes in the Treasury to continue to run it. So my advice is enjoy this week. If you want to try map 6 or map 7, go for it. But I would recommend my alliance, which may run a BG of map 6 with me not in it on occasion now. But, we should probably stick to the mostly map 5 still. I just think it's nice to try something out for free. But it can be a huge difference to your alliance when it comes to making that move for the Treasury. And we know now they have clamped down on people loading in Treasury dumps and then leaving an alliance. And it really has hurt some of the middle class tiers of alliances in this game that have told me that it's hard for them to keep their alliance members happy when you keep having to replace people and when you recruit people and you spend all that time recruiting and you bring somebody in that isn't a good fit, or they leave, or they simply don't donate when they're asked to. And then, of course, you've got the X amount of days they can't even donate if they want to. It's kind of a headache now. So this is nice to give everybody a break in the Treasury for a week, or maybe, just maybe, this is kind of my final advice on this shorter video. If your alliance wants to take advantage of this, but not take a week off, especially if you're an alliance that maybe is having trouble recruiting people, you might want to actually get people to either donate the same amount this week, even though the Alliance Quest maps are free, or maybe even a little bit more, and that way you build an excess in your Treasury that kind of covers a bad week. We know we're now in the off-season of Alliance War, and so sometimes that is a cue for people to leave to different alliances as well, or even retire from the game. So even though it's tempting to say no Treasury donations this week because Alliance Quest is free, I feel like the smarter alliances and the ones that are preparing for the future actually do normal donations and sometimes even more than normal donations just so that they can prepare for when their alliance gets hit with unexpected roster spots that they can't fill. So that is a couple of 2 cents from me on this Thursday. I am working hard on 2 videos that I should post by the end of today. The first is an updated guide on what 6 stars you should take to rank 2. And the second is, of course, the community compilation pools from yesterday's featured Mysterio pools. Lastly, I just want to say today's been a really emotional day for me. Yesterday I spent almost 7 hours, and I guess if you count an hour or 2 this morning, it's been about 8 hours on the Line app responding to a record number of messages and submissions for the Mysterio featured pools in both the Cavalier and Uncollected varieties. And when you spend about a third of your day on your phone, on the Line app, responding to strangers, you can question your life choices. And so I was actually this morning, I got like 3.5 hours of sleep. I was feeling lethargic and dejected and even a little depressed, which hasn't happened to me in a while. And then out of nowhere, as God sometimes works, I got this message on the Line app from somebody whose father has terminal cancer, and they watch my videos together and they enjoy them. So shout out to George. If you want more information on that, it's on my community page. I posted about it this morning. I needed that. Sometimes it's nice to be reminded that even if you feel like you aren't making a difference, or there's more haters than lovers, I don't know what kind of word you want to say, but it's not always true. And that if a video, even if it's not a great video, right? Because sometimes you're going to make a video and it's just not great. But if it makes one person laugh or it helps one person have a better day, then I think it's worth it, even if maybe somebody on the outside thinks it's not. So that has been a helpful amount of positivity to me and my lethargic sense of purpose on this Thursday, and it's kind of renewed my spirit and soul, so to speak. With that being said, I'm going to end this video and say, remember to keep your treasury up in your alliance and maybe even get ahead of the curve for this week. That is my pro advice for whatever it's worth. Otherwise, have a fantastic Tuesday. And by Tuesday, I mean Thursday. My goodness, that 3.5 hours of sleep is very obvious.